Greetings, potential citizens! My name is FailureToReport, and today I'm going to give you the most fast-tracked, high-speed crash course through the upcoming Star Citizen 3.5 free fly event possible. So, strap yourself in, because we have a lot to cover here, and it's going to get a little bit bumpy because I'm going to be one of the few content creators not pegging you into this madness so I can get a referral code bonus out of you. So, first and foremost, if you're here watching this video, you probably already have an idea of what Star Citizen is in terms of concept, but what you might not know is how the game actually plays, its development history, or what lies ahead for Star Citizen. But don't you worry, I've been here a long time. Some of you might have even still been licking glue sticks at school when I first bought into this madness, so hang in there, I got your back. Let's start things off with the ships you'll be getting access to in this free fly event, because let's face it, that's what everybody really wants to do. Fly a spaceshipper out into the verse. So, here comes a basic rundown of each ship you'll soon be getting your paws on, should you choose. First off, we have the Aegis Avenger Titan. This ship is a top tier starter ship that is well rounded from combat to cargo hauling thanks to the rear end of the ship hosting an 8 SCU cargo grid. While the Avenger Titan is slightly more expensive than its fellow starter ships, the Aurora and Mustang, it makes up for it tenfold by allowing you to get a jumpstart into basic combat missions as well as cargo hauling, both of which have very lucrative options for advancing out of the starter tier by purchasing a ship upgrade with in-game credits instead of real money. While the Avenger pilot shouldn't be looking to start any fights with other players, if you're a new citizen and just trying to get a feel for the verse on a real-life budget, this is the ship for you. Our next ship is the MISC Prospector. If you've ever wanted to pan for gold but with lasers in space, this here is a mighty fine panner for you. The Prospector is the only mining ship currently in game for Star Citizen, and while there is another mining concept ship that's been sold before, it costs something around $450 and is essentially a capital ship for mining. So with that consideration, if you have your heart set on playing a mining minigame with your mouse for hours on end, the Prospector is your wet dream. But it's going to cost you a good chunk of real life money or a lot of hours grinding in a starter ship. Be aware that unless CIG pushes out a hotfix before the free flight event starts, the Prospector has had quite a few different bugs happening in this current build, and your experience may vary. Our third ship of the event is the Anvil Arrow. If you're coming over to Star Citizen hot off of watching an intense Star Wars space battle or maybe some classic Battlestar Galactica, the Anvil Arrow is the ship you're probably looking for. It's a very agile, sleek, no-nonsense, light combat fighter. You won't get the chance to do any cargo hauling with this ship, but lucky for you, bounty hunting missions are some of the best ways to earn steady credits in Star Citizen currently. And with a few minor weapon upgrades, the Arrow can be an absolute monster. Even if you aren't an amazing pilot, you'll also find that against other veteran players who will be out there looking to prey on the newcomers, you're still a pretty tough nut to crack open thanks to how ridiculously small the Arrow is compared to other ships' hitboxes. So if you can't spin that to your advantage to either push off an attacker to another easier target or to escape, you're probably going to have a rough time with the rest of the game anyways. Next up is the Drake Cutlass Black. Take all of the things we covered about the Avenger Titan and now upsize them. The Cutlass Black is your multi-crew jack of it all, featuring enough firepower to level a few space blocks, 6 jump seats for troop transport, 46 SCU cargo grid of space, a co-pilot seat, and a turret gunner station. The Cutlass Black is still to this day one of the best buys you can make in Star Citizen to get the most out of your dollar. It's also worth pointing out that during this free fly event, the Cutlass Black is also going to be your fastest ship for getting around the system because of it coming with the largest quantum drive of the free fly event ships. Lastly, pulling up the rear is the Drake Dragonfly. This is basically for those of you who want to play Sons of Anarchy in space. If someone took a Harley into the future, the Drake Dragonfly is pretty much what you'd get. With seating for 2, it's a levitating chopper for you to cruise the moons. I sincerely apologize to all of you who are getting your first ride on a hover bike in Star Citizen with this patch, because some idiot talked Cloud Imperium into nerfing these things to only hover just above the ground, where previously they could cruise in atmosphere, and it was honestly one of the most badass things to come out of Star Citizen so far. Now that we've covered what tools are going to be available to you and their basics, I want to give a word of caution to you potential citizens. Some of these ships are real traps in that they will give you a sense of possibility in the verse that isn't entirely real. The Arrow is one of the best current fighters in the game, and if you're going to try buying into Star Citizen at a most basic starter package that everyone tells people that's all they need to buy, you're going to be in for a real slap in the face when you suddenly find yourself in the cockpit of an Aurora or a Mustang and you can't kill hardly anything, and everybody preys on you. Another thing about Star Citizen that is ever present and always true is that things are always changing, sometimes for the better, but also sometimes for the worst. The point being, you're getting a glimpse of Star Citizen during kind of a weird time. With Star Citizen 3.5, CIG introduced a new flight model which radically changed the way the space game plays. On one hand, this means that you aren't much more disadvantaged than most veterans in learning to fly because we're all still rapidly adjusting, but it also means that the flight model is still being tuned by Cloud Imperium, and in all likelihood, you could probably come back in a year or two and just find an entirely new flight model in its place once again. Furthermore, 3.5 is currently having a handful of bug-related issues. Combat is in a very rough place right now, with AI fighters twitching and janking randomly, which messes with the aiming system. The Prospector is having problems with mining ore. Boxes required for delivery and transport missions are falling through ships and so forth. The point of this is, what you're likely to experience during this free fly event is still a very rough patch that honestly should have been given more time to be ironed out before being pushed to live, and in all likelihood, it's probably going to show in the gameplay that you see. That said, if you are new to Star Citizen, there are some amazing things out there to try and experience for your first time. You should absolutely try to go sightseeing on some of the planets, go canyon banging in that arrow that you're getting on the moon Daymar, chase a sunset on one of the moons, or just take a slow cruise over the planet ArcCorp during the night. Star Citizen is absolutely unrivaled when it comes to space game screenshot generator, and for all of its gameplay flaws or missing mechanics, it still shines in that regard, which is part of why these free fly events are so successful at pulling in new backers. Now, if there are a few things that I could impart to you as a veteran of this mess, it would be some quick tips and tricks for getting through the verse and making the experience a little less miserable. So here's a couple of those to get you through it. When landing at a spaceport or taking off from a spaceport that puts your ship in a hangar bay, you need to request landing by pressing F11 to open your chat interface. On the top left, there's a tab that says Contacts. If you are in range of the spaceport's air traffic controller, the landing services contact will always be at the very top of your Contacts tab. Click that call arrow, and after a few seconds, you will be granted clearance to land or take off. If you're landing, the pad you're assigned to will have a small wrench icon over it, and when you're getting closer, a glowing blue field. This indicates the pad you're supposed to land on, and landing on any other pad is either illegal or it might get you killed depending on where you're at. Flying in this new flight model isn't super intuitive when it comes to your throttle. A new system was introduced in this patch where your throttle will only accelerate you up to your ship's speed limiter setting. This setting is a slider on the left side of your ship HUD, which is moved up and down with the mouse scroll wheel. I'm not sure what setting is used for joystick pilots, as I'm not one. Furthermore, if you want to maintain a current speed without holding the accelerator down, you can toggle the cruise control on and off with the default C as in Charlie keybind. Just make sure to keep situational awareness on this little toggle indicator arrow, as there's nothing worse than forgetting the cruise is still set and flying into a wall or a building. If you're traveling to another planet from across the system, you're going to quickly find out that the quantum travel times can be upwards of 10 minutes of just sitting there waiting to arrive. If you think that's frustrating, try getting killed or having to start right back where you started. While it can be a bit of a sidetrack, if you plan to stay in a certain area for a while, doing missions or whatever, it's a good idea to land at a major spaceport in that area. Doing so will save your character's respawn to that spaceport. The major spaceports that support respawning are Port Olisar orbiting Crusader, Levski on the moon Delamar, Lorville on the planet Hurston, and Area 18 on the planet ArcCorp. Grim Hex is also a spawn point station located in an asteroid belt surrounding the moon Yela, but it's also notorious for being a high PvP area, as well as having AI ships that are acting mildly retarded and ramming any ship they see on the landing pads. So probably avoid Grim Hex for now if this is your first time in Star Citizen. If you run into a contact in the void of space and you're not sure if it's a player or an NPC, you can tell the difference in that players do not have last names, where NPCs will have a first name and a last name separated by a space between the two. Don't count on radar contact indicators to tell you if somebody is friendly or hostile. While known enemy contacts and criminals will show up with an orange indicator and friendly contacts with a green, always remember that you could at any moment be the victim that flags that friendly player as a criminal when they decide to kill you on a whim. Trust no one you meet in the void. While this doesn't mean start a fight with every person you see, it does mean be aware of your position to theirs and keep a healthy standoff. There are no rules in this game against another player killing you any way they see fit, from ramming your ship to pretending to be your best friend and then shooting you in the back of the head when they're bored. The star map, which is opened by pressing F2, can be a little daunting to navigate at first. When opening the star map, it will usually only show your local orbit. So, if you're at Port Olisar, it's going to show you the area around Crusader. Scrolling all the way out to reveal the other planet destinations will probably give your finger arthritis. To quickly zoom out, double-click your right mouse, and if you want to zoom in on another planet or area, double left-click that location to zoom into the local scale. It isn't the prettiest navigation map by any means, but it is functional if you know how to use it. Following on the star map is the actual act of quantum traveling. This is like hyperjumping between 2 points, where standard cruising would take you longer than you're likely to be on the server before you or it crashes. To quantum travel from one planet to another, you need to open the star map and find the destination planet. Left-click it once and then click Set Waypoint. After doing so, you should get an icon on screen after exiting the map that will show you the direction of the jump. Facing your ship on this icon will then start a progress bar. This is your alignment to that point. You can pre-spool your quantum drive by pressing the default B as in Bravo key, or you can start spooling your drive once you have started the alignment. But you cannot jump until your ship is aligned to the destination and your drive is fully spooled. Now, because this game is kind of in a rough state right now, there is a common bug with quantum traveling where you might lose the ability to do multiple jumps or finish a longer jump. So you're either dropped from quantum travel because you reached the end of one waypoint, or you drop because your quantum drive overheated on a longer trip. When suddenly you can't get your drive to align to the destination anymore, which means no jumping. To fix this, open your star map up again, click the Clear Route button, then click Set Waypoint on the destination once more. This should give you a destination target once again, allowing you to align, spool, and continue on your merry way. Now, this is by no means an exhaustive list of things to get you by in Star Citizen. There are a lot of workarounds employed in everyday play that are really only learned by experiencing all the issues and either problem solving them for yourself or asking others if they've encountered them and hoping they have a solution. You really only learn to survive the game by surviving the game. The aim of this video isn't to impart my 6 years of Star Citizen wisdom all in one video, because that's not really possible. But if you're brand new to Star Citizen, this video should help you step into that free fly event with a slightly better understanding of the ships you'll have access to and the universe that you're trapped in. On my channel, I frequently get people asking me if Star Citizen is worth buying right now as she sits. I really hesitate to answer this question because everybody is different, and there are people out there who have been through the entire development of this game despite all the crappy things the company has done in their marketing, misleading or lying about release dates and progress, and yet these people still love this game to death. So while I personally wouldn't encourage any friend of mine to buy into Star Citizen as it is right now, there are people out there who have never been happier with what they got for their money. As a result, I constantly try to advocate that if anybody is interested in Star Citizen, they should wait for one of the few yearly free fly events. And because we're about to start a week-long free fly, this is the time for anybody who's listened to the Hype Boy channels or the salty haters like myself to get into Star Citizen and experience it for yourself. Because that's the only way you're really going to know if it's worth your money. At the end of the day, Star Citizen does have the potential to someday be an amazing space game experience, but that day is still very, very far out from here. They still have years of development ahead of them before they even get their core gameplay mechanics in place and fleshed out, much less delivering on the 100+ star systems that they promised for launch. So, if you try Star Citizen this week and you find it to be an enjoyable experience, I'm glad, but I strongly caution anybody testing the waters during this event to also do some homework before buying into this project. There is a lot more than what's on the surface, and a lot of the content creators, especially the Twitch streamers, have had direct kickbacks from CIG like brand new gaming rigs to run their game, or they'll pimp their game referral key left and right to get that free crap from Cloud Imperium. The point being, like any source of information, you should consider where it's coming from and what their angle is and properly look into anything that they say. And no, to the cult boy hater who is foaming at the mouth right now trying to find something in this video to scream about until their mom comes racing downstairs with the sedative, unlike your praise channels who nonstop circle jerk Chris and Star Citizen while playing dumb to all the issues that this game has so they can suck in backers for CIG and viewers for themselves, my livelihood doesn't depend on Star Citizen or this channel. But guess what? There's due. I can make a video when the mood strikes me, and even though you drop to the floor in a seizure fit when I upload a video about Star Citizen once every few months without saying a word about the White Knight channels uploading daily, this channel actually isn't paying for my Star Kit and Porsche. But hey, stay classy, bud. Alright then, let's finish this off. Star Citizen is an ever-evolving dream, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worst. There's no one on this earth who knows when it will be completed, and there's nothing wrong with waiting for release or buying in now. Just be very aware that both a certain nightly portion of the community and Cloud Imperium Games prey very, very hard on FOMO, or fear of missing out, as an excuse for why you need to buy now, now, now! And don't you dare miss out on that lifetime insurance ship that's war bond only. Oh, and what about this limited quantity concept? You want some of that? There's only so many. This ship over here? Oh yeah, this one is ultra rare, and you'll never have another chance to get it. This game has potential, but it also has potential in either direction. It could be the most amazing space game ever someday, or it could literally never launch. So, do your homework, value your own dollar, and look into the gray market. With all that said and done, I am FailureToReport, and I'll see you baby seals in the free fly.